Hello and welcome to the Crafty Pint Podcast. I'm James.
I'm Will.
And we're here, is it backstage or side room or something at the ABAs, post Australian International Beer Awards, something a bit different this week. And we're also here with a special guest who many of our readers will know very well from over the years, Guy Southern.
Hello, gents. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Guy, all the way over from WA. Any particular reason why you're here with us tonight?
I collected Neighbour tonight, which is very cool.
Yeah.
For best media. So I've been in a large room yelling at people drinking beer. So
well, you know,
a bit raspy. That's why.
And when did you arrive? Like you flew in today, I'm assuming.
I arrived this afternoon. I got to the hotel at 5 o'clock, and I went directly from the hotel to the Apollo Inn, ordered a whiskey cocktail and a prawn sandwich, and 25 minutes later I was in an Uber coming here.
There you go, fantastic. And so congratulations first and foremost.
Yeah, thank you.
You've sort of had a bit of a stellar few years, just sort of getting involved in more and more things in the booze industry in WA. Where does this sort of stand for you in terms of picking up the best media, which I know was for a pretty diverse entry as well, like covering, it wasn't just Crafty Pint stuff, there was a whole bunch of stuff you entered.
Yeah. Each year I enter stuff into ABAs, much like brewers would. And in last year was a big year for me. I did 10 oral history interviews for the State Library's Liquid Gold exhibition with filmmaker Fee Mulholland. So that formed part of that. Obviously, the WA Good Food Guide. I wrote a bunch of content for that. Ferrell's story about Beer Farmer Nail buying them out. Even just the fun ones like Reese Lopez, Eagle, Megacore. Yeah. It's, you know.
Everyone loved that story. I love that story when I first read it, and it really got some good traction as well. I think he's a wacky guy, and you really captured his spirit.
It's not only that, I think it's just knowing people, being around beer for a while. And James goes, I think we should do this. And I'm like, cool. I've got school pickup at 3:30. Reese, can you meet me for like an hour? And we smash this out. And sure enough, we're opening beers and Guy, you should take this and this. I went back and wrote that article in probably an hour.
Yeah, not even thinking, just like
just poured out of me. And at the end, I just went in the car on the way back. I went, this just feels good.
Yeah.
But what's interesting for me about this award, which I'm quite humbled about, is this weekend 10 years ago, I was sitting on a plane coming back to Perth from Good Beer Week, having just met you at Beer Deluxe. Joel Beresford had introduced us, and you sent me an email that night going, if you've got any articles, send it through. So literally this weekend, I've been writing for Crafty Pint for 10 years.
Wow. Okay, there you go.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. Fun. Like what timing, like that is so amazing. And yeah, I judged it, and your pieces, they just really stood out in terms of the diversity of them. You've entered some very different pieces, which was really exciting. When I saw what they were and actually went through them all, they were incredible reads and watches as well. If anyone's not seen the history of WA beer that you produced, it's incredible. Like all the right people.
And I'll share credit for that one with filmmaker Fee Mulholland. But you know, what came out of that storytelling piece was mateship. It wasn't about beer. Like everyone talked about. It was just a good reminder to me that, we're here at the ABAs and we're judging excellence, but a lot of times the space that I feel in the beer world celebrates the stuff around the glass.
Community,
The best stuff is always around the glass, as long as you've got good liquid in it.
yeah, nice. Now, I know yours was just one of many victories for WA tonight. Like WA's beer scene again has punched well above its weight. I think, well, maybe it hasn't. Maybe it's just always punching at that weight because it's very good. I guess the real standout would have been Wedgetail Brewing. Picking up a whole bunch of beers, trophies on the back of their Dart Lager.
Well, I think they only entered 2 beers.
Okay.
So really small operation in Mandurah. Yeah. So anyone who doesn't know where Mandurah is about an hour and a half south of Perth, around canals, kind of at some point in time was a retirement kind of community. But what's happened down in that region is you've got Boundary Island picking up stuff,
I actually looked early to find out where they were, and I'm like, oh my God, they're a 6-minute drive from Boundary Island. You've got these 2 trophies.
Boundary picked up a Decky IPA as well. White Lakes isn't too far away.
Yeah.
King Road again isn't too far
Yeah.
away again from that. So
There's something in the water, and it's not just sharks.
and-
It's Mark McGowan country, isn't it?
Yes,
That's
yeah,
supposed to be what it is.
a little bit further south, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that was amazing. I have to admit, of all the years of watching the awards, I don't think I've ever seen anyone quite so stunned as the Wedgetail like fan when he got up there to receive his award, and even Kiraly was like sort of rendered speechless because he was just so. I just can't believe I'm here. You know, it was quite beautiful, really. But yeah, no, but it was what I mean. Obviously, you said, but Boundary Island got a trophy. King Road picked up another 2.
Oh, those 2 King Road beers are gorgeous.
Well, I thought that was hilarious because you like sent me the write-up on those literally a week or 2 ago.
Yeah.
And I was saying to Steve, I can't believe you've won 2 trophies for 2 limited releases released at the same time.
Yeah.
Like just last week, he goes, "Oh, they were out 4 weeks ago. I just keep forgetting to send them to Guy." But like
Semi beers.
They just keep nailing awards. And I was chatting to Nick Sandry, who's made a collab with Stephen for Pint of Origin, and he's got some of King Road's beers on. And he was saying before the awards started, he's like, King Road's beers, he goes, they are pristine.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yes,
and I think that's what it is. He doesn't do anything crazy, but whatever he makes, he just knows how to make.
I
great
love
beer.
going to that brewery because I feel like I'm walking around in Steve's mind. Like you could literally, I describe it to people like you can walk around in there with socks on. Like, and it just feels very zen and very calm. And Steve's a beautiful, beautiful man.
Yeah.
And everyone that works there understands that ecosystem. It's great. It's just a beautiful place to be. Very hospitable, but just, I don't know, and that resonates in the liquid.
Yeah.
It's great.
And what did you make of it's the first time you've been to the
Yeah,
Abers?
first time at Abers.
So what did you make of the whole thing and any other
Well, I sat on
winners
a
that
great
stood out for
table,
you?
number one. So,
Oh, well, that's it. Yeah, we were at table 40. We had your trophy. We had Fee and Ed from Dollar Bills.
yeah,
We had their 2 trophies.
lovely people.
And
yeah.
then
They
we had
kind of own the Gypsy.
4 years straight now.
Yeah.
Let's just rename it the Dollar Bill Trophy.
Yeah.
And then we had Chris and Paul Holgate.
Yes.
And they
So
picked up-
Excellence Award.
Yeah.
3 golds in a way.
And I was pretty chuffed about that. Like I've always loved Road Trip IPA as a beer.
Yeah.
It's just a very classic old school,
Yeah.
Northwest Coast IPA, 6%.
Yep.
Never really changed it. Like whenever I go, Chris is a good friend of
Circle
mine.
has turned,
Yeah.
and we're back there now.
And they've just kept going with it. And it's
Yeah.
whenever I sort of go camping or go to a festival with Chris, I don't even need to say anything anymore. He just knows there has to be some fresh Road Trip in there because
Perfect.
we all love it. And it is. It's just nice to see those classic beers getting
Yeah.
recognised that might not, pick up the trophy because there might be something that's a bit more, I guess,
More zing to it or whatever.
But
Yeah,
just every year everyone has it. That's just a great beer,
Yeah.
And the chop from Hop Nation, we've always said that there was always the hype around J Juice, but I've always been like the Buzz is their best beer and the chop's their best IPA. So really nice to see that.
That
come in and they-
consistency
they-
award is the most important award in the evening, as far as I'm concerned. Like it's
I
so
agree,
amazing
yeah.
seeing that many breweries pick up 3 golds like year after year after year.
Mm.
It's incredible. It talks so much about consistency and quality and making great beer. I think
I don't think I'm talking about that as well.
It shows reassurance to consumers as well. I think that's a really good thing in this industry is that there's a lot of hype and a lot of change. And if a brewery can show that consistency, it means that you can reach for that can.
Mhm.
You might see a wall of color, but colorful cans and all the rest of it. But you know that you can depend on that brewery.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I think there was a fair few names that we see again and again, like Hawkers, one champion large brewery, Stomping
Yeah.
Ground picked up another award or two more trophies. Reckless, we had a chat to Grace. You'll see later in the show, they picked up
3 trophies for different beers.
Yeah,
3 years in a row.
years. And then you get the other sort of new ones you see that sort of surprise you. But there's definitely breweries who just keep coming back year after year. And another thing I've noticed as well, depending on how you count Carlton in terms of whether they're an Australian or a Japanese brewery, there was either only 5 or 6 of the individual beer trophies and their ciders went overseas, and I'm sure it always used to be a much more of a sort of even split. So to see so many breweries being claimed by Aussie brewers was pretty cool as well, like a pretty positive thing for the industry at a time that's pretty rough.
Yeah, and another favourite as well of the Crafty Pint team, Mick Slipstream as well,
Yeah.
picking up champion small Australian brewery.
Mick has been raving about Slipstream's beers for a long time.
for
I think
100
Brisbane.
years or something. Yeah.
Longer than they've been going. No, he's always been sticking up for Slipstream, especially their IPAs. And having said that, but they won their trophy for their first ever barrel aged mixed culture wild ale. So
And they won champion Queensland
a saison.
for a saison. So it's incredible pickup.
Speaking of the room, though, I was talking to Fee from Dollar Bill, and I said, "Look, this is my first Abers. What's the vibe? It seems quite buoyant in here." She goes, "It is definitely a warmer crowd. The vibe seems more buoyant. More fun. I don't know. What did you guys think?"
I think when people get together, no matter what the state of things is, it's people are pretty upbeat. It's interesting at the minute 'cause I think it's still tough out there
Yeah.
for people. But I got the impression, people said to me when I was out delivering posters and coasters and stuff for Pint of Origin way too late in the day. I stopped into like 10 or 11 venues one night, and it was a Tuesday night. Yes, it was warm, but there seemed to be people out, and there was this vibe like, oh, maybe things are starting to turn, and maybe there was a positive afterglow from the election, and oh, we've got the same government. There's going to be, interest rate cuts, whatever it is. I think it's still very tough, and this year is still kind of a survival year. But maybe people are starting to feel a bit more. If we're still around now, there's more interest rates coming. Maybe there's better things lie ahead. But I still think even when things were really tough, once you got the industry together, people see old faces again, and it comes back to what you were saying about you've got the liquid, but you've got everything that's about the liquid. And a phrase
Best stuff happens around the glass.
Yeah. And what the phrase I've heard more often than anything else over the past almost a week now, Pint of Origin is like community, like the community that's grown up around the venues or the festival, the people that get together.
I was chatting to Trav from Fat yesterday, and he was here for.
Don't remind me, I tried to meet him and I got caught up with the kids.
Pint of Origin last week, and he was like, the venues are full, the vibe's excellent. And he wants to bring it to WA.
I know,
like,
he's
He keeps emailing us. He just won't stop.
He goes, I reckon I can get this money out of the city of Perth. I'm like, that works for me. Yeah.
Great. Should we get into our guests then? So, a bit of a different episode.
Yes, for sure.
First up, you're going to hear from the team at Filter. So, Steph and Mick, they picked up an incredible 4 trophies.
Yep.
They only had 3 on them for some reason, so I hope they haven't lost one already. But when you win 4 trophies, you can
afford to lose one. And what's good is we realise you can use a trophy with a clip-on mic in real sort of like influencer style. It just about fits on with a trophy. So I was quite chuffed about that.
Yeah. So we hear us talk to them, and then it's on to Grace from Reckless, who, as we said before,
just laughed for 2 minutes.
She's stoked the team. Like, they have such a good brewery team. I don't know if they quite get the recognition they deserve because they just keep taking home trophies all the time. They're doing incredible stuff in Bathurst. Their beers are just so drinkable and delicious and highly regarded now by the judges, by blind judging. If there's any quality sound slightly off issues, apologies. It might be perfect. We don't actually know yet.
No. We're about to send all this to our producer, Matt, who's on holiday with his visiting his parents in the States, going, all right, this was recorded in one place. This was recorded somewhere else. This was recorded in a noisy room using just little lapel mics, but
hopefully it's perfect.
Should be fine. And then after that we'll get to the main interview, which we recorded at Judging last week. So we chat to Kiralee Waldhall, who presented again tonight, but now has a sort of overseer role within the whole awards.
And also, of course, a wonderful host with Justin.
Yes. And then Emily.
He did an incredible job reading all those German names and Czech names.
Working hard at the
Chinese brewing names. Oh my God,
wonderful.
It's incredible.
It was.
Kudos. He needs an award for that.
Yeah. And then we chat to Emily Usher, brewer Mountain Goat, who's one of the junior junior judges as well. That's more of a sort of behind the scenes why people judge. I guess the stuff that goes on beforehand before we get to the awards tonight. I guess we could reflect on the articles written over the last week. Talking of award-winning brewers, we did a piece on Slow Lane's first 5 years. If you want to chuck into that, we'll chuck that in the show notes. But I suppose more on the celebratory side of things, I think we pushed it last week. We have our Bluestone Yeast Brewery of the Month nominations. So if anyone wants to nominate their Brewery of the Month, there's plenty of ones,
People are saying it's just as good as winning a trophy at the Ables, is what I hear people saying.
Yeah. Do you want a trophy at the Ables, or do you want some zinc booster from Derek at Bluestone Yeast? So you could.
I feel like I need some zinc booster at this point in time. I'm quite excited about the opportunity.
So that's craftypint.com/bluestone. And if you just want to nominate a good beer citizen, someone who goes out the way, like Guy, Guy effectively has built the WA beer industry over the last 10 years. It was pretty well established. But Guy came and elevated it to a new level. If you'd like to nominate Guy, head to craftypint.com/rallings. But aside from that, I know congratulations to all the winners, to the Melbourne Royal team for pulling it all together, to Guy Southern for flying in today just to be our guest, and then discovering later that you'd won a trophy as well.
It's been a remarkable day.
All right, thank you so much. Cheers.
Cheers.
Seth, Mick, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Will.
You've taken out 4 trophies at the AMAs.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm a bit shocked. I'm super excited, but just shocked. I was up on stage going, am I meant to feel up or a bit intimidated? Or, it's really awesome that we have won such amazing awards in two beers that have been around for a long time, like in 2017, 2018. And then to actually get the big gongs and that recognition of new beers, older beers, we're super chuffed.
Yeah. Because I mean, obviously XPA's in there, which is your flagship, like the sweetest feeling, right, as a brewer.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
Absolutely. Like with every time the Australian Pale Ale category comes on, we kind of get really twitchy, really nervy, don't talk to each other much. But I think we actually got that from Sam Fussell. She would get so panicky and so sweaty. So to see it on the board and then get a champion again, the last one we got was 2018 here.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah, mate.
Yeah, it's so exciting to get those, those beers that we made our name with. Like to see it back up there, the XPA, it's unbelievable. Like it was just every year, like Nick said, we're so nervous on the XPA because we know it's such a great beer and we're so proud of it and we want to see it winning stuff. But again, to hear it out, it's just, and it's such a big category. So many great beers in that category. So to be up there again is amazing.
Yeah. And obviously, I mean, there's the two beer categories, but then champion, medium, and indie, like, obviously a lot of gold in there. Like, you're clearly brewing some pretty consistent beer.
Look, I mean, when it started with the Caribbean Stout, we're like, it's the first time we've rebrewed that beer in 3 years, I think. And we're like, when it came out, we're like, holy, like, this is really good. It's so good to have it back. And then, and we got it on Nitro at the brewery. So if you guys, it's exclusive, little plug. So come down the filter. But,
I'm down tomorrow.
and then it moved into things like the smoked cherry beer that we've got, the cherry machine. That was huge for the brewers because we actually brewed that for the Carlin Panvent of all things, and it's aged well, obviously. And then mate, there's just when the run started, and we were outside when we got the Hazel Pale ones, and we we're like, whoa, it's like coming in with, and so super stoked.
I think it's just a great recognition for the team. And, we go into these awards, it's a recognition of the quality that those guys put in every day in that brewery. And, hats off to them all and hats off to Sam for the original recipes. It's, we're just stoked that they've been able to carry on that legacy. And every day they work their asses off in that brewery and they deserve everything they're going to get out of coming out of tonight. Yeah, it really is to them.
Awesome, guys. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks, mate.
Grace, how's it feel to win the best stout in the country?
Pretty bloody epic, actually. Like, really, really cool and just humbling and amazing. Like, I don't know. Awesome.
Reckless is a name that seems to be popping up a lot of awards. You said before that you've won 3 in a row now at ABAs. What do you think's going on there? What are you doing?
I'm not sure. Maybe we're bribing someone. I'm not sure. Like, our brewer's obviously making great beer, but there's so much great beer. So I don't know. Something's going on. We're just stoked. We're stoked.
Yeah, it's awesome. When I drink a Reckless beer, I feel like I always know it for it being balanced and a pint beer, but like just very easy to drink a pint of. Is that sort of the approach you run through the brewery?
Yeah, thank you. We call that the 3 schooner test in New South Wales. But yeah, all of our beers are designed to be like balanced, easy drinking, but still, well made, balanced, and just enjoyable.
Do you get next year at the awards? Are you going to be nervous since you've gone back to back? Like,
I was nervous this year. I've never been nervous before, but I was like, this year I was like, oh my god, like we got some like pressure, but yeah, it happened. I don't know, it happened early this year, so we were able to enjoy the night, so that's awesome. Next year, I don't know, maybe I won't come. I don't know.
Just pretend it's not on. Turn the TV off and forget about it.
Exactly.
And what's it mean to you as a brewer as well and a founder? Like, it must mean so much for the team.
It's just so cool. Like, I've been in the industry a long time, never won a trophy until we opened our own brewery. And there's just something about, like, the love and passion. Like, I can't take credit. Like, we've got an amazing team of brewers. And, like, unfortunately, they've just had a baby, like our 2 main brewers, so they're not here tonight. But, like, this is really, like, a testament to their hard work. Like, they're amazing.
And
So
you get-
Stephen and Marie, you guys fucking killing it, mate.
Former Melbourne Brewers as well, stomping ground and
Yeah, correct. Sorry if I'm not allowed to swear.
Oh, fantastic, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Will. Thank you.
How would you like your beer cans to not only stand out in the fridge, but also help save the planet? Look no further than Clippercan. Developed by the team at Johnston Packaging, Clippercan is the eco-friendly cardboard multi-pack can clip you've been looking for. Made from beverage grade FSC or PEFC certified cardboard, Clippercan is the sustainable alternative to plastic clips and shrink films. Clippercan's patented double layer design locks cans securely in place, and it's perfect for storing in fridges, carrying home, or tossing into your esky. Best of all, Clippercan is fully recyclable and compostable. It's the eco-conscious choice you and your customers can feel good about. Not only is it sustainable, but Clippercan elevates your brand with a three-dimensional design and printed barcode, offering extra real estate to promote your brand and catch your customer's eye. Ready to make the switch? Join the Clippercan movement today. Get in touch with our team and start packaging smarter with a design that's better for you and the planet. Visit clippercan.com.au, that's KLIPPAKAN.com.au today.
Kirli, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be here.
Do you want to tell us sort of where we are and why we are here?
Yes, well, we're at the Melbourne Showgrounds and we are in the middle of judging the 2025 Australian International Beer Awards, which is very exciting.
And in the past year, you've been involved in the judging, but you have a new role this year. Do you want to tell us the new role? If you know, people probably watching YouTube probably can't see close enough to see your role, your name tag there.
Fancy badge now. So, yes, I have judged with Melbourne Royal for, I think, definitely over 10 years. And last year, I actually joined the team just after beer judging. So now I'm the senior manager for all of the food and beverage awards. So I've kind of broadened out of just beer, but obviously my heart is still in the beer world.
And what does senior manager mean then? Are you sort of just overseeing the processes behind the scenes, or what does that involve?
I'm the queen, of course.
You just sort of go, you do this,
you
you
do this,
over
yes,
there,
I
bring me this.
I boss everyone around. So there's three of us in our team. So I've got myself and then Oscar and Cass, and the three of us basically coordinate all of our awards programs. So we do beer, wine, spirits, and food. And the parts to it are obviously engaging exhibitors, getting entries in, and then actually managing the judging process. So setting up the judging space, coordinating the judges, and managing that as well.
And do you still get to do any judging, or if not, do you miss it?
I don't
On the record.
with Melbourne Royal, but I'm lucky enough to still be invited to other Royals and other judging programs. Yes, I do miss it. I love, but it's great to see all of the judges there today and see what happens from back of house as well.
Now, this is the largest of the beer awards in Australia, so 2,000 plus entries. I mean, it must be a pretty mammoth undertaking, in terms of the number of judges you have to bring in, number of samples, everything. Can you give us some idea of what it's like behind the scenes?
Yeah, it is. It's actually huge. So we got just under 2,300 entries this year, draft and pack. So it's actually the world's largest beer competition that does both draft and package beer. And we have 75 judges. 20% of those come from overseas. So we have judges from China, the US, Japan, Singapore, and then we have our Australian and New Zealand judges as well. And then we have a huge back of house crew too. So logistically, we're obviously dealing with kegs and packed beer. We're dealing with temperature, and we're dealing with just how long product can be on the table for as well, which is very different to wine and spirits. It's a huge logistical operation, but it just is so well coordinated here.
Because, I mean, how many beers might a judge or a table of judges take on in a session or a day? Like, I've heard like 60, 70, 80 sometimes in a day you'd be trying.
Yeah, it normally is between about 60 to 80. For this competition, it's about 60 beers a day. So it's substantial, particularly they're obviously having to drink those beers as well, swallow the beers.
Yeah. Yeah, and this will all be wrapped up. In fact, well, it'll be wrapped up the night before this podcast goes out. But so it's a really tight turnaround, isn't it? You do 3 days of judging here this week, then everything has to be turned around, and the results are announced within a week of finishing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll finish judging about lunchtime on Friday. The presentation is obviously Thursday evening. Within that, we have to do some auditing, particularly on the no alcohol and the low carb beers, to make sure they actually fit within the criteria. So we've got to fit that in as well.
Make sure they've got no alcohol in them.
Exactly. I mean, we could, try it ourselves, but we do actually send it off to a lab, send those beers off to a lab. So yeah, it is quite a quick turnaround, but we've got an amazing back-end system that obviously can supports that quick turnaround as well.
Yeah. And will you be hosting this year, or is that you are? I think you're allowed to double up on the roles there. Excellent. Is that how many?
Got my outfits. I got them all ready. It's like you can't kick me out of that one.
And well, how many years have you been doing that as well? Because I guess, as long as I've been coming to the Beer Awards, I reckon you've been involved in some way, not every year, but most years presenting. Is that one of the highlights of the year for you, doing that?
I love it. I literally shop for the awards every year, which is great. But I think it's got to be, I'm going to say between 12 and 14 years that I've been involved in some capacity. It's something that I love doing. I'm lucky enough that Melbourne Royal still want me to do it, and actually I'm now hosting some of their other awards as well. So they're doing well.
And what kind of role do you think awards play in the modern beer world? Do you think they reach out to consumers, and particularly when it's pretty tough out there at the moment?
Yeah, it is really tough, and it's something that I'm looking at coming into it. Obviously, I've had 25 years in the beer world, and it's looking at how do we really add that value back to our exhibitors, and obviously consumers are a huge part of that. I think if we look at it, wine has done really well in elevating an award. I mean, the Halliday system, people use that to buy, and that's something that we want to do with Melbourne Royal. So it's something that we need to, I think, do more with. So in terms of the role, obviously the brewers get amazing feedback on their beers. Like that's the first kind of fundamental, is just understanding where their beers sit. If they get a medal, if they get a trophy, we want to make sure that that actually is amplified to consumers and to the trade as well, so it actually results in greater sales and greater awareness.
And when we arrived here earlier today, there was the annual photo of all the judges taking place on the stairway next to where the judging takes place, and then the photo of all the female judges and I guess assistant judges as well.
Yep.
Is that something that you've noticed change over time as well? Because I've been doing this maybe 15 years now, and there was kind of you and Tina and a couple of other people, but now you walk in and you can fill half that stairwell just with the female judges. So is that something that has been a deliberate part of evolution over the years, or just happened as the sort of beer industry has changed?
Yeah, I think it's been a bit of both. I think, the industry has certainly attracted more females into it, which is amazing, and I think they've done a great job at trying to open up those doors. I think there's still work to be done. But obviously, as part of our judging panel as well, when we're looking at it, we want to get that balance in there. I think it's good to have a male-female balance, even from a palate point of view too. But the reason we do take that photo is because every year we get more female judges. So it's nice to show.
Have you got a sort of black marker line on the
like
glass on the side going,
But you're right. When I first started judging, I was one of probably a handful of female judges, and now 25% of our judging panel are female, which is fantastic, and we want to just keep growing that.
Yeah. And in terms of, so you've been doing this for 12, 14 years, any standouts from over the years, and in terms of, awards you've enjoyed or winners that you've been excited to be part of over the years?
Yeah, look, I mean, Dollar Bill's always been a great one. I think
the room really loves it when Dollar Bill win.
I think they're a popular win, but they also, I think the fact that their beers, which are left of centre, end up being, the champion beer. It shows how it helps to show that diversity in beer as well. So, always like those. I'm just, Cooper's Stout when that won. I've always loved Cooper's Stout. I think it's probably one of our best stouts that's available all year round. And I thought kudos to Cooper's because they've always made a great stout. So it's those ones that are kind of surprising that I enjoy.
Yeah, I think Cooper Stout's always that great one. If you find yourself in a part of the country where you can't find any craft beer, there's a good chance that even the local RSL or sports club is going to have a dusty Cooper
Yeah.
Stout somewhere in the
Yeah.
back of the
And
fridge.
it always
And it's
tastes good as well. It doesn't matter how old
6.5%.
it is.
It holds its own. I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. No, well, thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat to us. I know there's a few people in here now, but you've got hordes of people in the next building over that you need to sort of be keeping an eye on.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thanks for chat. We'll look forward to the awards. Well, next week, but I guess the day before this goes out. And yeah, see who comes up on top this time.
Yeah, amazing. And thanks for having me on, and look forward to next week
Cheers.
or
Thanks,
tomorrow.
Sharon.
Cheers. Or yesterday, whichever one it is.
Yesterday, whatever. Yeah, okay.
Cheers. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Emily, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. Now, last time we spoke, you were still at Deeds Brewing. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your role now at Go?
Yes, so now I'm still brewing. I'm still on the production floor, but then I'm also doing a little bit of quality. So I'm in the lab.
And we're here, and quality is definitely the focus at the ABERS. What's it like judging at the moment?
Oh, it's amazing. I think it's good to put kind of my everyday practice and what I'm doing at work and applying that to other beers and kind of seeing the best quality that is around in Australia and internationally.
And a lot of people wouldn't know what judging looks like or what goes on. Can you give us an overview of how a round works or a flight or what happens in the morning?
Yeah, sure. So I guess they do tend to ease us in. So, for example, yesterday we started on the lagers. You tend to get a flight, let's say up to 6 beers, but it can be a lot more than that. And you'll take it one by one and judging on appearance, you're judging on aroma, flavor, and kind of like the body and overall style of it.
And when you say starting you on lagers, how many lagers did you have in in your flight of lagers yesterday? Are you talking like 10, 15, 20 that you're trying to assess?
We had quite a few. So I say we had, 15, but we'd broken that up to maybe half of that each time.
Yeah. And when you say you're doing quality at with the lab at Mountain Goat, do you do this sort of stuff like a smaller scale version of like judging within the team at Mountain Goat? Would you do some blind tasting, if your beers against other similar styles or whatever, or is the quality you're doing there much more sort of lab focused and testing as opposed to sort of sensory?
I say more regularly. So every week we're testing the beers that we're doing. Are they hitting our bitterness, our color? But then we're bringing other people's beers. So on Fridays, we will do that against other breweries to kind of keep ourselves in specs. I think it's quite easy to get used to your own beers and their own flavor profile. So I think it's really important to taste other people's beers and other styles to kind of ground yourself.
Yeah. And in terms of like Mountain Goat have won a lot of trophies in the time that I've been covering the beer industry. I think from winning some of the barley wine just before the big sale, but then since then IPAs most years, a lot of like champion breweries as well. Does that put a bit of pressure on the team? So going back to, I guess with your Goat Brewers hat on, is there a bit of pressure leading up to the awards thinking we've got to make sure we maintain our standards?
I think there absolutely is, but I think the good thing at Goat is we are so regularly checking in on our beers, on our specifications. We're doing the lab testing, and I think that ensures just consistent quality, and I think that's the good thing about Goat.
Yeah. And in terms of getting involved here then, so was it something are you done judging elsewhere before, or how did you actually get to be here, and what's the process from sort of going, hey, I'd like to give judging a go, to actually getting your foot in the door and getting to the stage now where you're fully involved?
So I started off, I was kind of really I really enjoy sensory, so I really wanted a bit of judging. So I started off, as most people, kind of homebrew judging. And then I was lucky enough to become an associate last year. But I think that's helped by doing a lot of sensory at work. I'd led a lot of fault compound training, so it's something I'm super interested in. So hopefully one more year of associate judge, and then we'll see if I can do full judging.
As part of being an associate, is there a big sort of learning component, or are you working closely with other judges? Like, what are you sort of getting out of it as a, I guess, newer judge?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll kind of team up with the table captain. So you kind of have 4 or 5 of us on a table with the table captain and 1 associate judge. So not necessarily does my feedback or score go into the final judging round, but I get to see everybody's feedback, their score, how I relate and compare to their comments, which is super useful. Constantly expanding my vocab, which I think is one of the most important bits about it, really.
Yeah. And what about, with there'd be a lot of different personalities, a lot of people with different levels of experience, people from different parts of the world, different sized breweries, people with different tastes, I guess, in beer. What's that like as you move around the different tables? Can it be a different experience table to table, session to session in terms of, how it can be? And I guess, is that beneficial to you as a judge and a brewer, sort of, having those different experiences?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everybody's different. I think the good thing is every day you rotate who you're on with the table. So I'm learning something different from somebody else. Some people can be quite fast paced, and you get other people that really talk through it and each individual step.
Oh, well, and as someone who's newer, do you feel that your take and your opinion on the beers is as valued as others, or do you feel like you are I'm kind of like got my P plates on, and I'm here, sort of almost like pick things up, over year by year?
I think that's what I was really surprised by and enjoyed last year, is that my commentary and feedback was validated and included within the group. And that's what I really enjoyed, is that I felt really included. And maybe if I was slightly off, someone would kind of explain to me why they thought that. And it was, really educational experience for me.
And in terms of that, like maybe from the first year or this year, do you feel like you sort of walk away buzzing with sort of ideas for the brewery or processes or anything like that? Or is it, what do you sort of get out of it when you're back at work next week?
I think it adds a bit of inspiration, a bit of kick up the butt. You kind of taste all these amazing beers and you see maybe some of the faults on other beers and how you compare to that, but also what you strive to be. So I think it definitely, motivates you to be better and kind of gives you a kick up the bum for next year and what you can improve on.
Yeah, and do you have, if you're allowed to choose, are there any particular styles you come in the morning and you see the tables you're on, you're just like, for fuck's sake, why am I on that table? Or you're like, oh, that's awesome, like this is a beer I want to taste, either because you love it or you're keen to sort of see how it's being made by others?
I think, for example, I had low alcohols this morning, and although that's not necessarily a beer that I would be really excited about.
You don't go hunting them at Gabs?
But I think it's something that's actually really interesting to judge. I think it's something that is come leaps and bounds, and it was actually great to see how impressive the low alcohols were and to judge them where it's not something that I frequently taste.
Yeah.
Fantastic, Emily. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Hope it wasn't too bad.
The Crafty Pint podcast is produced and edited by Matt Hoffman. You can get all your beer-related news and reviews on the Crafty Pint website, craftypint.com, and can stay up to date on future podcast episodes via our socials.
We wouldn't be able to produce the podcast or the website, events or festivals we run without the support of the beer industry, whether that's suppliers, bars, breweries or bottle shops. If you'd like to support the show or partner with the Crafty Pint in other ways, please reach out to Craig via the details in the show notes.
And if you're a beer lover who'd like to support what we do, you can join our exclusive club for beer lovers, the Crafty Cabal. Visit craftykabal.com for more.
And until next time, drink good beer.